Good day everyone, I am John Carlo Gamboa from BTL Ed2B. Today we will be discussing the accounting equation. But before that, I would like to introduce to all of you my co-reporter, Miss Estacio Nadine, Miss Felitro Jelica, and Miss Lumbab Regine May. So let's start. Let us define first what is accounting equation. Accounting equation is the fundamental accounting equation, also called the balance sheet equation. It represents the relationships between the assets, liabilities, and owner's equity of a person or business. It is the foundation for the double entry bookkeeping system. For each transaction, the total debits equal the total credits. In the formation of accounting data, a basic accounting equation is used for financial statement no matter if you are just a small business or multi-million company. So there are three elements of accounting equation, which is first the asset, second is the liabilities, and the third one is the owner's equity. And now let us first define the assets. Asset reflects the total value of the property that the business has, which is in its turnover, or on the other words, it is called what it owns, or all things that you own. Including in the assets are cash, notes receivable, land, buildings, equipment, store supplies, vehicles, and account receivable. So the second elements is the liabilities. The liabilities reflects the size of the financing of an organization assets by third parties, banks, and private financial institution. Or in the other words, it is all things that you owe. So the third elements is the equity. Owner's equity is everything that is left from the assets after paying all the liabilities. In accounting equation, it also include the value received equals the value parted with. The amount of value received will always equal with the amount of the value parted with. When the value received is a thing of value, an asset is increased. Therefore, debit the asset account title of the thing of value with the amount of increase. For some instances, with the value parted with is the use or hire of property or services, the capital or proprietorship account is increased. The second one is the debit equals credit. The amount entered on the debit side of an item's account will always have a corresponding amount entered on the credit side of another item's account. Hence, the amount of debit will always equal to the amount of credit. The total of the debits and credits for any transaction must always equal each other so that an accounting transaction is always to be in balance. The next one is the assets equals liabilities plus capital. The liabilities and capital are called equities, which means that the assets of the business as a separate entity can be claimed of both the outside creditors and the proprietor himself. Hence, the accounting equation can also be stated as: when a business is put up, its resources or assets come from the two sources, which is the contribution by owners or capital, and those acquired from creditors or lenders are also called the liabilities. The final one is the assets equities. If the proprietor wants to know his proprietary interest in the business, or if he wants to know how much is his claim over the assets of the business, the accounting equation stated as:
Good day, everyone. I am Jalica Lapaz Filetro, and this is my topic for today. So, assets minus liabilities equals capital. In short, what the business owns minus less what the business owes equals what is left for the business, which stands for the capital and is the claim of proprietor. So, assets are the items your company owns that can provide future economic benefit, such as cash, investments, inventory, office equipment, machinery, and real estate. It is the properties owned by a business, while liabilities are what you owe other parties or your obligations to other parties or any debts your company has, whether it's bank loans, mortgages, unpaid bills, or any other sum of money that owned by someone else. So, in short, assets put money in your pocket and liabilities make money out. So, ang example aning assets minus liabilities equals capital is that ang ato ang assets is 70,000 pesos. While ang ato ang liabilities is that 40,000 pesos. So, kaning assets ug liabilities is ato ang i-minus, which is 70,000 minus 40,000 is equals to 30,000 pesos. So, ang ato ang capital is 30,000 pesos. So, capitals refers to the portion of the assets available to the owners of the business after all liabilities are settled. So, ang ilahang capital ani tanan is that 30,000 pesos. So, next is that the assets minus liabilities plus capital. So, this basic accounting equation shows that a company's total assets are equal to the sum of its liabilities and shareholders. So, equity or capital. This formula, the assets equals liabilities plus capital, known as the balance sheet equation. It shows what a company owns or assets and is purchased by either what is owes or we call this as the liabilities. And next is the what is owners invest or they mo na siya ang the capital. So, ang example naman aning assets equals liabilities plus capital is that if a company wants to manufacture a car part, so, nagkailangan sila og 50,000 pesos to purchase a machine. And they borrow from the bank and spends another 20,000 pesos para mag-spend na pud sila og another kagamitan nila. And then, in order to purchase the machine, is kailangan na po nila og 30,000 pesos. So, yung ilahang total tanan nga kwarta is that 50,000 to purchase lang sa machine, and then nagborrow na po sila another 20,000, and then kailangan na po nila og 30,000 pesos to purchase the another machine. So ang assets na is worth 50,000 pesos, which is the sum of liabilities is 20,000 pesos and the capital is 30,000 pesos. So, the next is the rules of debit and credit. Rules of debit and credit, as previously discussed, the accounting equation reflects the normal balances of the three accounting values as well as the temporary accounts of a capital account. The side positioning as adapted to affect the increases and decreases of their respective amounts can be gleaned further with the development rules of debit and credit, which are stated as follows. So, we debit to and we credit to. So, ang rule number 1, it increase an asset. Pag abot naman sa credit is decrease an asset. Ang sa rule number 2, sa debit nga part is that decrease a liability. Pag abot naman sa credit is that they increase a liability. Sa rule number 3 is that ang ilahang debit is decrease a capital. In other hand, sa credit naman is that they increase a capital. Sa rule number 4, they increase a drawing. Sa credit naman is that increase a drawing. So, parehas lang sila. Sa rule number 5, decrease an income, and sa credit is that increase an income. So ang rule number 6 that increase an expense, and sa credit naman nga part is that decrease an expense. So ang next reporter na ang mag-explain ani nga part, and magpakita po sila og solution. Thank you.
Application of the rules. The following selected transactions are given to illustrate the application of the rules of debit and credit through side positioning. Debit is an entry made on the left side. So as you can see in the picture na ang debit na sa left side, while the credit is an entry made on the right side. So makita niyo sa picture po na ay credit nakabutang sa right side. So muna itong ginatawag ng side positioning. Ang debit na sa left side, then ang credit na sa right side. Asset is represented by the account cash. So example sa asset is account receivable, inventories, and supplies. Liability is represented by the accounts. Example sa liabilities kay accounts payable and note payable. Then capital or equity is represented by Rosario Salva Capital. Muna siyang owner's equity. And then the drawing is represented by Rosario Salva. Drawing. Income is represented by the account. Income or revenue like service revenue or service income. And lastly is the expense is represented by the account office supplies expense. Now po other examples sa expense like rent or utilities. Naay siya ka na marag process sa pag-answer sa inani. So para dili ni siya makalimtan kung saan na siya pag-answer. So, kani siya kanang sayon lang siya. So, kani siya DCADELER. DCADELER. So, kaning each letter is na siya pasabot. So, ang D stands for debit and the C is for credit. And then ADE nabilong ni siya sa debit. ADE means asset, drawings, and expense. While LER is nabilong siya sa credit. LER means liabilities, equity, or capital, revenue, or income. So, muna siya. So, transaction number 1. Mrs. R. Salva made an initial investment of 10,000 cash. So, let's say for instance, invest siya sa usa ka company of 10,000. Si Mrs. R. Salva. So, i-analyze to siya guys. So, debit cash of 10,000 and credit R. Salva capital of 10,000. So, ang cash is pasabot diba na niya is asset is represented by the cash, which is asset is belong siya sa debit. While the credit, the capital of 10,000, ang capital is nabilong na siya sa credit. So, marami equal silang duha. And then rule. So ang debit increase in asset and credit increase in capital. So ang sa debit nga side nag-increase pud ang iyang asset, while sa credit pud na side na increase pud ang iyang capital. So equal lang jud siya. So sa normal balance sheet is kanang na siya kanang should be equal. The debit and credit should be equal. So mo diba na sa na-increase iyang na-increase iyang debit, and then sa cash, and then kay R. Salva pod capital na-increase pod ang iyang sa credit. So equal sila. So note the effect. Cash account, cash was debited and the amount of 10,000 was entered on the increase side, which is in its normal balance or positive, being an asset account. So muna siya. So, next slide is the rules of debit and credit in accounting. This very equation, as related to the principle of debit and credit, must not be interpreted that assets will always be received and therefore will always be debited, and that liabilities and capital will always be the value parted with and should be created. This equation relates to the normal balances of the three accounting values. So, the assets should be sa debit yun na siya na belong, And then liabilities and capital, na-belong na siya sa credited or sa credit. So, normal balances of accounts. The accounting equation. Asset is equal to liabilities plus capital. So, asset, na-belong to siya sa debit. Then, liabilities or capital, na-belong siya sa credit. Reflects the normal balances of the three accounting values. This means that expense and assets is normal balance is a debit. So, ano sila? Same. Then liabilities and capital, the normal balance is a credit. So, pareho ra pud sila. Since liabilities and capital nabilong na siya sa credit and expense and assets is nabilong pud sa debit. The understanding of their respective normal balances is very important so that you can picture the effect of changes on these values in terms of pesos. So, importante nga masabtan nato ning inaning nga process since kailangan nato ni siya ma-learn and also you can picture out in the future makita nimo ang effect of the changes especially kung pesos imong gamiton. To easily recall their normal balances is by picturing at once the accounting equation. So, mo to siya guys, DC, ADE, LER. So, D stands for debit, C stands for credit. ADE belongs to debit, which means asset, drawings, expense, while LER belongs to the credit. LER means liabilities, equity, and revenue. So, that's all. Thank you.
My name is Regine Meslumbab and I am your reporter at this time. As for the transaction number 1, based on the report of Ms. Nadine, Mrs. R. Salva made an initial investment of 10,000 pesos. And here in the transaction number 2, Mrs. Salva made an additional investment of 10,000 cash. In the analysis of this part is that 15,000 will be added in the credit and capital area. So, the rule is when we increase the asset and credit, the capital will also be increasing. So in the increase side debit, here we will position the 10,000 and 15,000 in a total of 25,000. And for the other table, for the capital, here we will see in the side of credit, increased credit, we will position here the 10,000 plus 15,000 in a total of 25,000. In the capital area, we will it shows the increase of the amount that is put in your account. So it will only shows the increase. So meaning, di natin dyan makikita yung amount ng money na nabawas sa account mo. So positive area lang na dyan. The capital area will be the positive table of in this accounting equation. And now let's proceed to the transaction number 3. We will know what is the term of the negative side or the decrease side. So that term, it is called drawing. Increase in drawing. Drawing means the effect of the decrease of the amount. Increase in drawing meaning the increase of money that you withdraw in your account. So balik-kabaliktaran siya. Increase but negative kasi yun yung nabawas. Pag lalaki ng lalaki yung nabawas sa account mo, meaning nag-i-increase din yung withdraw mo, which is dyan kinuha yung drawing na term, withdrawal, yung kinuha mo. So here in the transaction number 3, Mrs. R. Salva made a cash withdrawal of 2,000. Speaking of withdrawal, it means the decrease of the amount. So 25,000 minus 2,000 that is positioned in the decrease side of credit will come out into 23,000 balance of the cash account of Mrs. Salva. So, dyan, self-explanatory, 10,000 and 15,000 is the investment money, and the 2,000 pesos will be deducted in the 25,000, and it will come out into 23,000. Kasi nabawasan na siya ng 2,000. Kasi nag-withdraw si Mrs. Salva. And for the other table, which is the drawing table, we will see here only we will only see here the decrease amount or yung mga pera na nilabas mo, yung mga amount ng pera na nilabas mo sa account mo or ni Mrs. Salva. So, nag-withdraw siya ng 2,000. So, it will be put here in the increase side or the increase side of drawing na nagkuha ka na ng 2,000 pesos. So, let's proceed to the transaction number 4. Transaction number 4 shows that Mrs. Salva made another cash withdrawal of 3,000 pesos. So, nag-withdraw na naman siya. So, 2,000 plus 3,000 will equivalent to 5,000. So, may katabi na si 2,000 sa decrease side of credit. And here in the increase side of debit, we will see the balance. So, 10,000 plus 15,000 in total of 25,000 minus 5,000 that the amount of Mrs. Salva the amount that Mrs. Salva withdraw in her account is in a total of 5,000. So 25,000 minus 25,000, it will come out as 20,000. 20,000 na lang yung natira. So, in the second table, in the capital, as I have told you earlier, na ang makikita lang natin dito is the positive side. It shows the positive effect or the increase of the money. So, 10,000 plus 15,000 is equivalent in total of 25,000. Hindi siya nabago from the transaction number 3. So, let's proceed here in the drawing table or the negative table. Kasi dito, nakikita ang mga amount na pera na kinuha mo sa iyong account. So, 2,000 kanina sa transaction number 3. So, here at the transaction number 4, you will be expected that you will see the 3,000 that is positioned in the increase side of debit. Kasi, lumalaki yung pera na nailalabas mo sa iyong account. Kaya siya tinatawag na increase side debit sa drawing na table, which means it shows the effect of the decrease of the amount. So, all in all, 5,000 na ang na-withdraw ni Mrs. R. I forgot the name. Ni Mrs. Salva. So, 25,000 minus 5,000 will be she will only have the balance of 20,000. And I forgot to tell you that the cash table is the asset, or the general table which shows the all in all, the increased money and the decreased money. And here in the capital or drawing table, it just bali mas nilinaw niya yung table. It's in the drawing or capital table, it separate niya or the decreased money and the increased money was separated so that it will be more mas malinaw. Ayun. So I guess everyone listen and learned about something about our topic today, and that's all. Thank you.